Public notice is given that the Smithfield City Council, whoa. Ready? Nope. Got a lot of feedback. Try again. That's better. Public notice is given that the Smithfield City Council will meet in a regularly scheduled meeting at 96 South Main, Smithfield, Utah, on Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. The meeting will begin at 6:30 p.m. And I will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I would like to give a prayer, and then we will have a thought. You join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our dear Heavenly Father, we are so grateful to be together here today as a council and as staff and as citizens. We're so grateful for our opportunity to live in this beautiful community with the safety and freedom that we have. We're grateful for those who work for our city, for those who serve our city, and for those who serve us in the military throughout the world. Please bless us tonight to make good decisions, to understand how important these jobs are, and to be able to make decisions with thy help. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. So I quickly searched for just a quick little quote, and I think I found the perfect one. The best way to find ourselves is to lose ourselves in the service of others. And I know I'm speaking for this entire council. It is such an honor to be able to serve others in this capacity. And I will just say that I am so grateful for this time. You know, we're actually in the business, we've been told at Utah League of Cities and Towns that we're in the business of quality of life. And I hope that we've made your life just a little bit better this past 4 years, that we've done things that have brought more joy, maybe a little bit more joy, maybe a little bit more information, maybe a little bit more security to you. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and start on the agenda. Number 1, approval of the City Council meeting minutes from November 17th, 2025. And I'll take a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the council meeting minutes from November 17th, 2025.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion's been made by Wade, seconded by Jen. How do we vote? Wade?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
By the way, John he is here. That was good. Motion passes. 1A, Youth Council. We have Emily Hanson here representing the Youth Council. Do you want to come up and give your report, please?
Okay, so hi, I'm Emily from the City Council. This month in December, we did a lot of stuff and had great attendance. We had our Christmas party, which was super fun. We had almost everybody show up. Then we helped with the Night of Giving setup and takedown, and that went really well. We had lots of help for both of that, and I think that went very smoothly. And then was that Monday, we helped with the Storybook Festival, and I think we actually had more help than we needed, and it turned out really well. And upcoming in January, I'm pretty sure we have the triathlon that we will be helping with.
You guys are amazing. You have been super, super busy, and you make such a difference. So would you please pass on to the rest of the group how much we appreciate you?
Yes.
So thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Okay, number 2, public comment on items not on the agenda or agenda items not requiring a public hearing during the council meeting. When you come up, please state your name. We allow 3 minutes, and as I always say, please make sure you speak to us with kindness and respect and dignity, and we will do the same for you. And I'm opening up that time now.
My glasses on. I'm Jenny Orm.
Most of the time when people stand up in this meeting to give public input, they want something. They want their neighborhood to stay the same, or they want changes, or they want changes to make our community better. Sometimes we're calm, sometimes we're angry, sometimes we're frustrated. But as I have watched Mayor Monson, Sue Heyer, and Wade Campbell over the past 4 years, I have seen nothing but kindness and respect from them in return. I have watched them put their personal biases aside to do what is best for all those involved. Unfortunately, they do not always receive that kindness in return. Tonight, I want to give my heartfelt thank you for all you have done. I hope that you can forget the negative comments and focus on the love and gratefulness that Smithfield City residents have for each of you. You have made Smithfield a better place by your service, and I have nothing but respect and gratitude for each of you. You will be greatly missed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Wendy Al-Bakri, and Jenny and I must be on the same page, because like Jenny, I'm here to express gratitude. I see a lot of darkness in the world, and I have tried really hard to be a light. And so I want to express to each one of you, and I wanted to do it publicly, although this scares me to death. I want to express publicly my gratitude. I've not been able to attend every meeting, but I've attended a few. I've also been so impressed with the emails I get and the 3 things about Smithfield City that you need to know, and everything that's on the website that's available for us. With very little effort, I know what your votes are. I know what's happening in the city. And I, like Jenny, want to express appreciation for your incredible sacrifices on behalf of all of us in Smithfield. I know this is a sacrifice for each one of you. And tonight I especially want to thank Mayor Monson and Sue and Wade, as your service is coming to an end. It's been noticed. Your sacrifice is appreciated. And I hope you know that the good you've done has affected a lot of us in lots of positive ways. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do and have done for our city. Thanks.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
This is Carolee Stokes. This is probably the hardest time I've ever been up here, what I want to say. And I don't know how to begin. My heart is pumping out of my chest right now. But the last 3 months have been living heck. And what happened to my son, Ted Stokes, and my daughter-in-law and my grandkids was pure malice. And that's the best word to describe what they went through. They didn't deserve it. Ted didn't deserve it. The threats of him resigning, everything was coming from everything. Everywhere and everything. Texts, messages, letters, emails, you name it, he got it. And I looked up malice, the definition of it, and it was the best word to use for what they have gone through. And to watch your grandkids and your daughter-in-law cry every day for the longest time was so hard to watch. And I didn't really want to get up here and talk, but I had to say something publicly, because this has been unbelievable to me. All Ted ever wanted to be was to serve the people and be transparent and be open to the city of what was going on in the city and be transparent of everything going on. and let the public know. But he was targeted for that, targeted for being open and transparent. And it's hard to see what happened these last 3 months in the information and things that I have learned in the last 3 months. Because I'll tell you something, I've been coming to these meetings every month for years. And I know what was going on, what was said, what goes on with the city. I know a lot because I've sat here and watched it. And I just want you to know, everybody publicly, Ted didn't deserve what he got. And it breaks my heart. And this is coming from me and nobody else. This is my words and my thinking and my perspective. And I don't know who leaked it. I have no clue who leaked it and did such a malice thing, because whoever leaked it brought such danger to Ted and his family. And I don't know who would ever want to do that, because I would never want anybody to go through what Ted and his family went through. I would never wish that on anybody. And I don't know why whoever did it would want to do such a dangerous thing. But that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Jim Marshall. You know me. Last week, my wife and I drove 1,000 miles through rural Georgia and rural South Carolina. We saw abandoned houses. We saw empty downtowns. We saw a factory that couldn't have been more than 40 years old being engulfed by kudzu because it's abandoned. And we visited my brother in a town in South Carolina that has lost 25% of its population since the 2010 census. So when you talk about quality of life, I'm very grateful for what we have here. The more I drove around, the more I appreciated where I live. And I know that we can attribute that to great leadership over the last few years and over generations. And I'm grateful for it. I just want to thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Jim.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Let's go to number 3. We would like to recognize Bob Holbrook for years of dedicated service on the Planning Commission. Bob, come on up. So how many years has it been, Bob? 5? 5. So we have this super cool clock. I'm gonna come down. And we would just like to thank Bob for all that service. And I'll tell you, this is a man that does his homework, that knows what's going on, doesn't show up to the meeting going, now what are we talking about? He always knows what's going on, and we really appreciate all these years. And so this is the clock in recognition of years of dedicated service to Smithfield City, Utah, November 2020 to November 2025. So thank you, and I hope everybody will give him a hand. We're gonna go over there.
Oh, no. I want Jamie over here.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Bob.
Thank you.
So number 4 is recognition of Jamie Anderson for years of dedicated service on the Planning Commission. So Jamie served before, but he came back again, and he has been serving as our Planning Commission chairman. And he does such a good job, and he is so professional, and we really appreciate him coming back and serving us again. So Jamie, if you'll come up. He already has a clock, so get something different.
Brian's closest.
So we just want to thank Jamie, let's not face that way. Let's face So thank you for your time, for your service, and then
I feel part.
good. So Jamie has served as the Planning Commission Chairman, and he will be replaced by a vote in January with the Planning Commission. And so that's a big job, and he has to be ready for it. So as we move on to number 5, I just want to explain something. I'll read it first. Number 5, discussion and possible approval of Michael Beckstead as a member of the Smithfield City Planning Commission, effective January 1st, 2026. So the way that these people have been chosen is the next 2 that are coming up have been chosen from the people that came in to apply for the opening with the city council that was vacated. So it's just it was a 2-year opening. They came, applied, and afterwards we said, if you have an interest in serving on the planning commission, let us know. And then I took those names of the people that said they were willing to do it to council members, and the decision was made to ask these people to serve on the commission. Some people have wondered if this is just me or if Justin asked them, but it's not. It was a vote of the council and a recommendation of the council. So Mike, if you can come up so we know who you are. Tell us just like 2 sentences about yourself, or 4, I don't care.
My name's Mike Beckstead, lived here in Smithfield for 20 years. My wife Tara and I have 2 children, live up on 7th East, 5th South, that area. I'm just looking to give back to the community a little bit and do what I can to help.
Okay. Do you have any questions for Mike? Okay. Then I just stay here, because that way you can see the vote. I can accept approval. Does somebody want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Mr. Michael Beckstead as a member of the Smithfield City Planning Commission.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Todd. And how do we vote? Todd?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes. Sue?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Welcome. So you'll start January 2022. So just so you know, Mike will actually come in as an alternate, and he will come to all the meetings. He will sit in the audience unless there's an opening during that evening to sit up here with the rest of the commission. And then as somebody retires, he will step into their place. So, but we really appreciate him coming in. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is Robert Felshaw here? I don't think he is. Okay. He also was an applicant for the opening with the city council. And that's the reason we asked him if he was interested as well. So let me just read number 6, discussion and possible approval of Robert Felshaw as a member of the Smithfield City Planning Commission effective January 1st, 2026. I'll take a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Mr. Robert Felshaw as a member of the Smithfield City Planning Commission.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by John. How do we vote? Wade?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Motion passes, and wherever you are, Robert, welcome. Number 7, discussion and possible approval of Haley Lister. Haley, are you here? Come on up. As a member of the Smithfield City Tree Committee. I'm going to turn the time over to Todd, but I will say Haley's new to town, and she came to my office a few months ago and said, what can I do? How can I serve? What committees can I be on? You don't get that very often, so we're really excited you found your place. So I'm going to turn the time over to you.
Wonderful. I've only had the opportunity to meet Haley one time, and that was at our last tree committee committee meeting. But very impressed by her. She's very knowledgeable. I'm excited to have her on. She came highly recommended as well from Jack, from others that have known her and had experience with her. And so maybe just take just a moment to tell us about yourself. Sure. And then.
So I moved here at the end of April from Idaho, but I hope I can stay for many years because I really love it here.
But I am a trained ecologist for the sagebrush steppe and for subalpine ecosystems. I currently work as the marketing manager for a local organic chemistry lab in Logan. We make stuff that goes into drug discovery and early stage pharmaceuticals. But my passion is in conservation, is in stewardship, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm also a chair member of, or a chair on the board for our local Audubon Society, which is a chapter of the National Audubon, where we do conservation focused around birds, but that covers just about every aspect of our ecosystems. So,
Well, okay, so we get to take a vote on this, so I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion on that one.
Okay.
If I might, I'd like to make a motion that we approve Haley Lister as a member of the Smithfield City Tree Committee.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Todd, seconded by Jen. How do we vote, Todd?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
Okay, welcome, Haley.
Thank
We're
you.
excited to have you on
Thank
the
you.
board.
Thank you.
So a question was raised, why certain boards have to come here to be approved and certain groups don't have to be approved. So the Historical Society, the Tree Committee, and the Planning Commission are under code and have to have direction from the City Council. Other groups such as Arts, Youth Council, Senior Citizen Center are not in the municipal code, and so they are able to acquire members without having to bring them here. No volunteers in Smithfield City are a paid position. I think that's an interesting fact. So they are all volunteers. But that is the reason that we welcomed Haley, and yet you can ask everybody else to be on other committees. So just so you know. Okay, number 8, discussion and possible approval of Nick. I'm sorry, I should have gotten this. Is it Reithel? Reithel, as a member of the Smithfield City Tree Committee. Nick, do you want to stand up and come up?
Yeah, not too many German last names in the valley, I admit.
Yeah. And do you want to tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm relatively new to the valley, or new to Smithfield. I've lived here for about 4 years. Oh, sorry. And it's just an amazing place. What a wonderful community. And with regards to this committee, I mean, it's so special that this community values maintaining a tree city status. I mean, I'm such a big fan of the parks and everything the city does to maintain them, and I just want to continue being part of that effort. I work as a conservation planner for the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food, so I have some background in that area, and yeah, I just really want to be part of this effort. So, thank you.
Awesome. I'm ready for a motion.
Can I do 2 in a row?
Yes.
I'll make
He
another
does like
motion.
7. He does 7, so.
I would love to make a motion that we approve Nick Reithel
Rifle, yeah.
as a member of the Smithfield City Tree Committee.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by John. How do we vote? Todd?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Welcome. We're
Thank
glad
you.
you're here.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to ask, go ahead. I'm going to ask Jack Green if he'll just stand. That's all you have to do, Jack, is stand. Jack Green is, oh, he wants to come up. Awesome. You can come up.
Yeah, just a few words. The wonderful support I've had from the mayor, the council, the city manager for our committee. It's been marvelous. We've had a very strong committee. The 2 outgoing members had good reasons for leaving. We didn't chase them off, and they had other obligations. Carol Holland, K.O. Robertson, they served very well for several years. And yeah, just all the support. And these 2 members, I know them personally. I've been in the field with them. I've, yeah, known them for a few years now, except for Haley, excuse me. But anyway, so very excited to have them on the committee. And thank you so much for your support all the way around.
So I just want to say something about you,
Thank
Jack.
Jack.
So I asked Jack to take on the tree committee. Oh, gosh, it's been 4 years ago, right at the very beginning. And he is the ultimate tree hugger. I mean, this fits him perfectly. But if all our committees could run like Jack runs the tree committee, we'd be in extremely good shape. Our committees run well, but Jack knows exactly what he's doing, and he is committed. And we appreciate all the time and effort he puts into this. So thank you, Jack. We sure appreciate you. Okay, I'm gonna skip number 9 because I don't see Diana here. Is she here? Okay, inward. That's okay. We'll go to number 10. Number 10, discussion and possible vote on ordinance 2025-24. Thank you for coming. An ordinance rezoning Cache County parcel number 08-080-0008 from R110 PUD Single Family Residential 10,000 square foot planned unit development overlay zone to R110 PUD Single Family Residential 10,000 square feet planned unit development overlay zone. The parcel is approximately 1.7 acres and is, located approximately 370 north, 250 west. The request was submitted by Jesse Vega, and I'm going to turn the time over to Brian, but thank you for coming up, Mr. Vega. Okay, go ahead, Brian.
Okay. So, this is a previous development named Gregory Stables, has already been approved, and they simply are on the 3rd phase of their project, and they've missed a deadline. Unfortunately, our code makes it so that they go through the system again the same exact way, and so this is a repeat of approving the 3rd phase of Gregory Stables that they've already built 2 phases.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to say, Mr. Vega?
No,
Okay.
I don't, no. I
Does
think we
anybody
got
have any
everything covered.
questions?
I don't have a question for Mr. Vega, but I do have a question just in general on this. Is there something that we could do in the code that still protects the city from having something languish forever, but makes it so that somebody doesn't have to apply again if they miss that window, if there's something still actively progressing?
I'm not aware of that, but we can look into it. We can talk to our attorney and find out if there's something that we can do to alter that and change it.
In the code, you can actually extend it if you realize
It's a longer
that
period.
the deadline's coming up.
Okay.
Did you do, does he have to pay a second time when it comes back like this?
He does.
Okay.
So, we're good. It's a
It's
learning,
okay.
it's a learning curve.
A learning curve, okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Vega. I'm gonna go ahead and take a vote. I'm ready for a motion unless anybody else has another question. Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we, let's see, gotta look at what we're doing here. Number 10. That we pass ordinance 2025-24, rezoning the parcel number 08-080-0008 from
Thank you.
R110 PUD to R110 PUD.
Awesome. I'll take a second.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made by Todd, seconded by Sue. How do we vote? Sue?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Okay, looks like you're
Okay.
ready to go.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 11, discussion and possible vote on ordinance 2025-23, an ordinance amending the Smithfield Municipal Code Title 16, Subdivision Regulations, Chapter 16.04, General Provisions, Section 16.04.060, Compliance Required. And I'm going to turn the time back over to Brian.
Thank you. Okay. Item 11 and item 12 are in essence the same thing. So what happened is we actually have a portion of fire code in both sections, both in our main municipal code and in our design code. The compliance portion of the main code has the full allowance of 100 units and 30 units for single family, and our design code only had 10. In fact, it didn't even do anything else but state that they had to have 10 units, or the other stated 100 or 50 units in order to have 2 accesses for a fire truck. The way we're gonna fix this is, first we're gonna take and alter the code in our municipal code to read 50 multifamily units and 15 single-family units before they have to have 2 accesses. So we're halving the typical allowed amount, and we're putting it in the standard code. And then, rather than trying to repeat it and have the opportunity for problems in the future, we're simply going to reference it in our design code. So you can see how we're going to reference that, and that's what 12 is. We're going to reference the change in the design code, change the code in the municipal code. Rather than 100, we're going to have 50. And rather than 30 single-family units, we'll have 15. And that is before they have to have 2 separate accesses. Another minor change is the portion of text that says dedicated city roads. Now, in essence, keeping the fire apparatus access information would potentially allow developers to put a 20-foot fire lane, which is allowed by the overall code, but as a city, we're able to change that if it's a tighter access or tighter code, I should say. So what we're going to do is say that they have to have 2 dedicated city roads. Rather than trying to build a small 20-foot lane, in some instances, we're going to make them, if they meet these requirements, have access to 2 city roads that are dedicated already. If that makes
Does anybody have questions?
clear as mud.
I don't think so. I read back through the planning commission notes, and it
Awesome.
seemed like there was some good
Does this
discussion
change
there,
anything in
so.
terms of, how much does this change cost to developers to?
It shouldn't change any cost. There may be some cost to the developer in the end, because depending on the amount of homes or units he's selling, he may have additional access, but in reality, this is part of the code is taken from the International Fire Code. And so this is more of a fire safety for access for fire trucks to have, depending on how many units are being built. So, not speaking from a place of perfect knowledge, but I don't think that there's going to be a large or a addition or a subtraction of cost.
Will it be timing, right? They'll have to do
It would all be timing in how they phase it out, in how many units they have, and so in the end it would be a wash. It may be a little more in one phase, a little less in another, but in the end it would be the same. As the preliminary plat is built, each final plat would stay the same.
Right, and I assume our fire personnel are in support of this.
Yes. In fact, they helped us come up with
Okay,
this.
perfect.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we pass ordinance 2523, amending the municipal code, Title 16, their section 16.04.060.
And I'll take a second.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made by John, seconded by Jen, and how do we vote? Wade?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. All right, Brian's just getting warmed up here. Number 12, discussion and possible vote on ordinance 2025-22, an ordinance amending the Smithfield City Construction and Design Standards, Part 1, Design Standards, Chapter 2.0, Street Design, Section 2.1, General. Turn the time back over to Brian.
This is the reference in the design code to the municipal code for the changes that we just made and just approved. So that's all this is.
Any questions? I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-2022, amending the Smithfield City Construction Design Standards.
Ready for a second?
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
Try again.
Go ahead, Doug.
Okay, and seconded by Todd. And how do we vote? Jen?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Number 13, discussion and possible vote on ordinance 2025-21, an ordinance amending the Smithfield City Municipal Code Title 5, Business Licenses and Regulations, adding Chapter 5.34, Firearms and Ammunition, and Sections 5.34.010, Business License, and amending Title 17, Zoning Regulations, Chapter 17.120, Use Matrix Table, Section 17.120.010, Use Allowance Matrix. Again, time will go to Brian.
I think reading that was as much as I have to share.
Okay.
So, our current city code doesn't have anything in it for firearm usage, with the exception of a matrix that allows conditional use for commercial of a not a firearm, I'm sorry, a gun shop. That's all it said. Because of that, we've run into multiple problems over the last few years with both commercial and home requests for firearms. And based on those requests, I made the decision to go and talk to the ATF. That's the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm group. They actually have, part of the Bureau has an office here in Salt Lake that takes care of all of Utah. So I called him. He and I went through this for about 2 or 3 months to figure out how we wanted to word it. He made sure that we worded it correctly, because a lot of this is fine line walking when it comes to the Second Amendment. And so this, in essence, is what we came down to. If you can see on your screen, it might be small. I'll start off by using this. The FFL has 11 different licenses. The FFL is the, I'm sorry.
Yep.
It's the federal firearm license. These are issued by ATF. I should have had those on my top of my brain, but I didn't. So they have a list of types of licenses that they issue, and in order to have this type of license, the applicant has to have a city business license. So in every situation, they will call me and they will ask if this type of license is allowed in the zone. In essence, when he and I talked about forming this code, he said the best way to do it was to form it so that it aligned with the FFL license types. So that's precisely what we've done. So now you can go back to that. So we have all commercial firearm business licenses. They have a conditional use that expires at 3 years. Now the reason we did 3 years is because that's when the FFL license with the federal firearms folks expires. And so we wanted that to coincide with our license type. So they have to get a conditional use that's only allowed for 3 years. They are only allowed a type 1, and I'll explain these in a moment. Type 1, type 2, type 6, and a type 7. So if you've had a chance to read the documentation that I added, we don't have to pull it up, but the documentation I added has a very detailed explanation of each type. Type 1 is sales and repair of standard firearms. That is simply what it is. In fact, most people in the country, he said, he gave me this to add to this, that most people in the country use that as their home licensing. Most countries use it, home licensing for the number 1. Type 2 is the firearm sales for pawnbrokers. That's only needed in commercial. And so that's why it's found in commercial and not the other. Type 6 is a commercial ammunition manufacturing, which allows them to manufacture the ammunition and sell it. You don't see a lot of type 6 licenses given because it's very difficult for ammunition to be manufactured on a small personal basis and sold commercially. Typically, you see it manufactured with large machinery and then produced and sold that way, so you don't see a lot of this. Type 7 is the manufacturer of firearms and ammunition, so they can assemble the parts from a firearm and they can manufacture the ammunition as needed. Then we have their home-based licenses, and this is the big solution to the problem we've been running into. So we created a home occupation firearms license. It too has a conditional use of 3 years, again coinciding with the FFL licenses. It allows type 1, which is the sale and repair of standard firearms. And I guess I shouldn't ask, but how many of you were able to read the additional documentation I added for the FFL licenses? Good. So type 1 is very basic. It allows them to buy and sell firearms, typically in a small amount, and that's why it's utilized for home businesses and home licenses. Type 3 is what's called a curio and relic license. It essentially is utilized for people buying guns, and I've used this example before. If you were purchasing a firearm from, say, the Civil War, a lot of people don't sell those. They'll purchase them and keep them in their homes. Okay, type 7, we've added type 7 as part of that. We have simply made some exceptions so they can't have the entire type 7 license. We've made an exception for light manufacturing. Actually, before I do that, I should just tell you, so type 7 is the manufacture of firearms and ammunition. However, in the home, we've limited, as a home license, we've limited that to light manufacturing, CNC customizations, meaning they typically will make or manufacture very small parts that are needed to make certain guns work together, older guns, newer guns, different brands. Laser engravings, if you need a name or something engraved, or you want a name or something engraved in a gun. And 3D printing. As an example for this, we have someone in the city that actually prints small parts of the gun and sells them to police departments across the country. There's a small part that they just manufacture and 3D print in plastic and then just sell to different departments. The main reason we've done the exceptions is because 7 would allow full manufacturing, but we don't want necessarily a full manufacturing unit in a home, so we do allow for certain things to happen. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. One more thing. So we are going to change the allowance matrix. If you can scroll up, and if you can see that, we're going to change the wording from gun shop to commercial firearm sales. It's still going to be conditional use in all commercial zones. And then we're going to add home occupation firearm sales, and it is a conditional use in the residential zones. At that, do you have any questions? They did, I'm sorry, the Planning Commission did approve this or recommended it for approval.
This took
And it's
you
come on down.
hours of work, there's no doubt.
Oh, months.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
Do we
correct
have
me,
questions?
I was just gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong, but just in going through that, in layman's terms for something that somebody may be wanting to know, all of this requires the FFL license anyway to be doing that. So anybody that is doing this is not getting around an FFL.
Yeah.
And by the same token, none of this applies to anyone doing their own home reloading, their own work for their own gun. They do not need to go through this because they don't need an FFL to do that.
That's a good point.
So,
This
just-
will not apply to personal creation or sales at all. And you bring up a good point that I want to make. I've said it before, but none of the licensing inspections have to work through the city. Because they have to get an FFL license in every situation, the ATF actually inspects their situation. They have them write up valuations of how they're gonna take care of things. They have them lock certain things in certain places. They have books that they give them to keep track of all sales and all the information. And so in reality, we're allowing this, however, they're the ones that do all the inspection, they do all the licensing, they do all the work. And then if the city doesn't allow it, or if they've come across a couple things and they haven't paid in specific amounts of time, or they have issues with their license and they have their city business license retracted, then we can always call the ATF and they will actually retract the FFL license as well. So if they don't have a city license, they don't have an FFL license or an FFL.
So the purpose of doing this, Brian, this ordinance is to restrict some of the behaviors or actions that the city does not want in the city, even though they may have an FFL license? Is that the purpose of including this, or why? Or
the main purpose of including this is to add home occupation sales allowance in a home occupation business without allowing them to do all of the things commercial entities can do. That's the basis. We want to allow them to have a home license and do small things without doing all the things, say, that a commercial firearm license can
it's more of a
potentially do.
clarification of a gray area right now, really.
That we haven't had for years and years.
Right.
Mayor, may I take a second?
Yes, please.
So this actually started off with a resident that came to us that wants to be in compliance. Had an FFL for years, their FFL was expiring. They were contacted by the ATF. Then the ATF said you need a business license. And this person that came to us, a longtime resident, been here a few decades, he helps widows, helps families, like, for example, through an auction house like Gunbroker. Wanted to be in compliance. We couldn't get him in compliance because we didn't allow this in a home-based business. Our goal was to allow him and those types to be in compliance, working with the ATF for Brian spent hours with them, what's reasonable, what's not reasonable. Our whole goal was to allow, like this gentleman that has been doing it for decades and his license expires and we could not help him. We want to allow home occupation. We want to allow those where, like Brian says, it does not affect going out and buying, a personal one. Like, I want to go buy a rifle, pistol, amulet. Doesn't affect me in any way. I want to get a home-based home occupation. Our whole goal at the end of the day was the home occupation to help those residents that want to do this, but also not allow them to do things out of their home that they shouldn't be, like manufacturing rifles from scratch with big lathes and machines. And so we tried to balance both, get them in compliance. The ATF also reviewed it so that it's not one of those that we just did it and they're like, no, it still doesn't check those boxes. Brian worked with the ATF to make sure what we're doing would also get them. The thing we like about it is the ATF is going to be the monitor, not us. Yeah. Our monitor is the business license. And if there's problems or if they create issues, we can simply reach out to the ATF. Nice to have a local, I believe it's in Salt Lake, if I recall correctly. Mm-hmm. So our end goal, John, was simply to help fill an area that we currently legally could not help them.
And to be clear, the reason we worked so much with the ATF was to make it so that Second Amendment wasn't going to become a problem with our code.
Yep.
That was the whole reason of having him so involved.
Thank you for all your hard work on this,
thank you.
Brian. Any more questions? I'm ready for a motion.
I just had one more question, actually.
So you do have
Are
a
there
question.
gonna, potentially down the line, are we going to run into objections from someone who wants to have a business, who has the license, federal license, but our code does not allow for something they would want to do? Like, what would be the most likely objection that we're going to run into? I just want to think.
The manufacturing, major manufacturing, I want to put,
In a home.
I want to put several lathes in my garage or my shop, open all hours of the night, be noisy, have lots of deliveries. Because I work at a machine shop right now, I want to start doing this on the side, and it starts getting bigger, and then it grows, and then we tell them, you can't have your manufacturing facility with employees and traffic out of your home. That's where our biggest battle will come long-term, by far, is when someone wants to make that jump, because it's gone from a hobby to a full career. That's where I anticipate it. The nice thing is, it's the code. We can change it at any time if the council feels it's appropriate.
Yep. And we did talk about this. It does create, when they get that big, it creates fire code issues as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Okay, thank you.
I'm ready for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-21 as stipulated in the agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Todd, seconded by Jen. How do we vote? Wade?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. All right, number 14, discussion and possible approval of the water use and preservation plan as part of the general plan. And I'm going to turn the time over to Justin on this one.
So council, is part of, or one of the requirements by the end of the year, we have to have an updated water conservation plan. We're going to call it a water use and preservation plan. We're currently have been in the process of updating the general plan since 2024. It's going to carry into a period of time in 2026 that we don't have an end date on yet. So what we're asking for tonight, so we can stay in compliance for our 12/31 deadline, is to adopt the water use and preservation portion of the update. Could this be changed when the general plan is updated or finalized in 2026? Absolutely. So it's subject to change like everything else. There was a couple of typos in there that residents notified us about. We appreciate them. We've got those taken care of. But there are a couple of sections I want to read in here just for those in attendance, because I think they sum it up much better than we could. In 1998, the Utah legislature passed the Water Conservation Act, amended in 2022, requiring water agencies with more than 500 drinking water connections to submit water conservation plans to the Utah Division of Water Resources and update the plans every 5 years. The purpose of the Water Conservation Plan is to provide information regarding existing and proposed water conservation measures that will help conserve water in the state so that adequate supplies of water are available for future needs. Water conservation plans include water use reduction goals as well as implementation strategies. The current Smithfield City Water Conservation Plan was updated and adopted in 2023 and outlines the goals below: reduce residential water use in gallons per capita, GPCD, increase repair and maintenance to improve the system operation, increase education and use of water efficient landscaping. So that's part of what's in this plan. I would like to read one interesting fact that you find that says in 2020, Smithfield averaged approximately 200 gallons per day, 200 gallons per capita daily compared to 293 statewide, and yet 184 nationally. I find that to be interesting. When you look at when you scroll down, there are some action items. A through G. Some of them are 0 to 3, every 5 years, annually. When you look at those goals, a lot of it is education, review, informing the residents that use a lot of water, that you use a lot of water compared to your neighbors and others. Some don't care. We've tried to talk to them, say, hey, do you have a leak or something? Some of them, that green grass is really, really super important, and they're just going to do that. You know, like when you look at some of the others, connect residents with USU Extension for landscaping and infrastructure efficiency, installation of water efficient fixtures and appliances, develop, this one I think is very interesting. Develop and adopt landscaping requirements for public streets that do not require the use of lawn or turf in park strips / street medians. We would love to not see grass in the park strip where possible, long term on that. So going to be education, going to be providing information, It has to happen. We will do it. Well, water is a commodity. One of Clay's most important jobs as city engineer is overseeing, him and Josh, our public works director, overseeing our culinary water system. And there is only so much water. And then right now, it's great water for golf, if you ask our golf pro. It's not great when you look up in those mountains and see not a whole lot of snow. So we'll adapt from year to year, but council tonight, we're asking to approve this water use and conservation plan, knowing that there's a good possibility it could change over the next few months, and it can be amended when needed by the council as well, but it will lead to a lot of education, a lot of information. We'll be including some of this stuff to individual users. We'll also be including stuff to the general public, through 3 things in other areas. So this is just only a section tonight that we're asking you to update so we can stay in compliance.
Any questions for Justin? Okay, I am ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion. Make a motion that we approve the water use and preservation plan as a part of the general plan.
And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion has been made by Todd, seconded by Jen. How do we vote? Jen?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Awesome. That's good to have part of our general plan approved. That's good. Okay, number 15, public hearing for the purpose of discussing ordinance 2025-30, an ordinance amending the Smithfield City Municipal Code, Title 8, Health and Safety, Chapter 8.08, Fire Code, adding in its entirety Section 8.08.070, International Wildland Urban Interface Code, or the WIC. I'm going to turn the time over to Chief Hunt to explain this first, then I'll open up the public hearing.
I will do my best at explaining this because there's a lot of things that haven't been answered when this bill passed. This came about because of House Bill 48, which is the Wildland Urban Interface.
Yeah, you have to talk in that.
The Wildland Urban Interface Code. So it's gone back and forth of who's doing which portions of this bill. It's raised a lot of questions amongst the state fire chiefs. Basically what it boiled down to in October, November, what they want from the cities is the cities to create a map that shows a line between its city and the Wildland Urban Interface, and then adopt the 2006 version of the WUI code, Wildland Urban Interface Code. The reason we're doing the 2006 is because that's the newest version the state has adopted. Right now they're working on the 2024, but nothing's come out about that. So this, a lot like the last one, is to meet a 12/31 deadline. They told us we had to have it in place by the end of the year. We're trying to get it in place. I'm going to bet we're probably going to see some major changes, and we will be back here again discussing it. One of the biggest problems that I've seen so far is they're having us create a map at the same time they're creating a map. Now, what are we going to do when those two maps don't line up? So this map is to solidify our portion of this so that we can be in compliance with House Bill 48.
Does anyone have any questions for Chief Hunt?
So this map we're looking at is the map you created.
Yeah.
And your determination of this boundary was made can you describe that process a little bit?
Essentially what we're looking at here right now is our city limits. It's really hard. Like I said, the state's working on a map. We're working on a map. We're saying that anything that goes above that will use that Wildland and Urban Interface Code. The Wildland Urban Interface Code requires some additional steps when building new structures, whether it's closed soffits, whether it's the landscaping, to reduce the risk of wildland fires spreading from the mountains down into our city. Right now, this is just a starting point. My concern is when that state map comes out, if the state map is down into the city, then we're gonna have to adjust our map because we're gonna wanna protect our citizens and make sure their homes are being built to the standard. Because the state's also gonna potentially impose some fees for people that are built in this high-risk wildland interface. And so anything that we can do by providing that information in that code to lessen those fees, I think is the responsible thing to do. So right now, this is just city limits until we get a state map and we can start comparing the two.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you can sit down and we may ask you some more questions in a minute. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna open up the public hearing now. If any of you have anything you want to say or ask, now is the time. Oh, I opened that at 7:30. Sorry. And now I'm gonna close it at 7:30. Do any of you have any questions or any discussion? Okay, then I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-30.
Motion's been made by Sue. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by John. How do we vote? John?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Okay, looks like we're good to go for a little while. Thank you. Okay, we've done number 16. Let's go on to number 17. Public hearing for the purpose of discussing ordinance 2025-29 and ordinance amending chapter 3.20 municipal impact fees by modifying the wastewater sewer collection impact fee. And I will turn the time over to Justin to explain it, then we'll open up the public discussion again
Can we
after
come
that.
back to this one, Mayor, where Diana's here? Are you okay with
You
that?
bet. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. So we're gonna move back to item number 9, audit presentation for fiscal year 2025, which is a period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 by representatives of Richie May, formerly known as Allred Jackson. Thank you, and I will turn the time over to Diana Canal.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being flexible. We
And-
have back-to-back fun presentations
And will
today,
you
so-
introduce your coworker?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm Diana Cannell. I'm the audit partner, and this is Cody Bland, and he's the audit manager. So we're part of the team that works on your annual
Can you
audit.
speak into the?
We're part of the team that works on your annual audit. We also have other staff as well. And we just really would like to say thank you so much to your staff. Justin is fantastic. Things are incredibly organized, everything that we're requesting, which is a lot of documentation every time we come in and to do the audit. And he just does it in just such a great and efficient way that it makes it a pleasure. Thank you, Justin. And please tell all of your staff that as well. All right, I'm going to just give you kind of some financial highlights over last year. Please ask any questions as we go along. If you have questions later, reach out to me, call me, email me. Happy to go through any questions that you have. So I'm going to start on page 23. This shows all of the assets for all of the funds within the city. And if we look at the end of the year, you ended up with $113 million. Now that is a $13 million increase over last year, mainly in your fixed assets. So capital improvements that you've done with the city were about $4.4 million in total, and that's net of depreciation. And your cash position increased about $7.4 million. Now if you turn the page, you can see your liabilities. They ended up at about a little over 11 million, and that is only an increase of 1.3 million, mostly in what is called customer deposits or escrow accounts that you're doing with various construction projects. So it wasn't that you were really taking on more liabilities, but you have to hold those funds for that purpose, which means your equity increased over last year about $12 million. And that's a fantastic situation to be in as you're doing improvements with the city to be able to build those things up. If you turn the page to 25, here you can see if we're looking at towards the bottom, your change in net position, or what is like a net income, and this is for all funds in the city. It was almost $12 million, and that is an increase of $2.5 million. Now keep in mind as you're going through, as you're bringing in the money, it's used for capital projects. And one thing that I really will have to say is, as we read all of your minutes, so, you know, if you have something bad to say about us, you know, maybe say it in code. But as we do there, it's just been really impressive as I have gone through and as we're looking through the financial statements and as we're working through them and testing a lot of the things, that I notice how much you're putting into your infrastructure without incurring the debt, which so much when we do, we audit a lot of municipalities, and usually your assets go up, your debt also goes up. And it's just been very impressive that Smithfield has managed, with all of those fixed assets that I told you on the increase, that your debt is incredibly low ratio. And it's just really nice to know that as you're planning ahead and doing those things, you're building towards improvements without putting the city more at debt. And I just wanted to say kudos to all of you who are working towards that and doing that, because that just gives you so many more options when you're not tied down to all those principal and interest payments. On page 29, here you can see the revenues. In total, your revenues this is just the general and capital projects fund, and they ended at about 16 million, about $906,000 increase over last year. Your expenses went up about 1.3 million. So pretty similar revenue and expense changes over the year in those two funds. If we do that same kind of analysis with your business type funds, which is water, sewer, stormwater, and solid waste on page 35, here you can see your revenues went up about 1.2 million. Your expenses only went up 81,000, very similar to last year. But if you turn the page, there you can see we've got some differences. Your net income in total went up $2.3 million. Now you're going to see a big portion of that. If you look, it's almost towards the bottom of that page, that developers' contributions. I just want to explain, because that's a little something different with governmental financial statements. When developers come in and put in a subdivision, they're required to do certain things, certain infrastructure, that when those subdivisions are then completed, those infrastructure assets are turned over to the city. That's recognized on the financial statements as a revenue and a fixed asset. You increased your asset, and then that's like their a donation contribution to the city, so to speak. It's called developer contributions, what they contributed to the city. So you can see that for the end of the year, this year, it was about $1.8 million. And that's all based on when those subdivisions are finished. So I'm sure you have a lot of other subdivisions still in play. Those, when they are completed, will then be put on to your fixed assets and revenue at that time. Couple other things I always like to point out, and that is on, if you turn to page 55, just because it's such a big part of everything that you do is all your fixed assets. Here you can kind of see total increases, decreases. It's just in a roll forward situation. Now, also, I just want to make sure everybody understands on depreciation. It's not a cash expense. It is, they're allocating the cost of the fixed asset over time. So then it depreciates. You're not paying the money for that because you've paid for the asset when it's incurred, but that's how it kind of decreases in value over time based on the estimated useful life of that asset. So when you see that, and that just, when you see it on the cash flow statement and everything, I just want to make sure everybody kind of understands what that is. That is your financial statements on a super high level. I'm happy to go into more depth on any individual fund or any specific account, or if you have any questions, I'm here for you right now, or if you have questions later, you can also get a hold of me later. But does anyone have any questions before we go on to the findings?
No, ma'am.
I think we're good.
All right. Let's jump to the back of the report. We have two findings this year. These are both state compliance findings, and a more serious finding would be if we had a financial finding and there are not, you're doing great that way. But state compliance, we test anywhere in a given year between 28 and 32 different areas for state compliance. The first one you'll see is the fraud risk assessment. You are doing the fraud risk assessment, you're approving it. This year the state came and said, right at the end of May when they issued their compliance guide, not only do we, as the auditors, have to look at and see that you've done the fraud risk assessment, but any question that you answered yes to, we have to actually get support and documentation for it. That means if you said you had a policy, then we have to get a copy of the policy. If you said you did the training, we have to get all the certificates for the training. It caught a lot of our municipalities off guard this year that hadn't been collecting or keeping that during the year. And so if all of them, this one in particular, we didn't have the 40 hours of formal training documented. And so I believe it happened, just not a collection of document or going back and finding it. So it's a finding, it's a very minor finding. And just for this next year, just make sure all as it's happening, make sure all that documentation gets kept and given to Justin. The second one is on fund balance. And the state requires that in your general fund, you do not exceed 35% fund balance, and you were at 36. I know, pretty nitpicky, I'm sorry, but it's the requirement. So why does the state ask you to do that? And one of the things is they want to make sure that you're aligning the general fund revenues with the expenses that are happening, that you're not stockpiling, okay? Obviously 1%, not a big concern, but what is one of the mechanisms that they recommend that you do because in any given year, you may pull in revenue, but maybe you don't expend it for a capital project that you wanted in that same year. And when that happens, they want you to transfer money do a transfer over to the capital projects fund. That fund is meant, and it doesn't have restrictions on timing, because they know sometimes a project can take 3, 5, 7 years to build up enough reserves before you can do it. So their recommendation is make sure you're transferring funds from general fund to capital projects, hold it for those capital projects, and then expend it out when you're ready to do those projects. So just keep an eye on, and I know it's really hard, it gets really tricky at the end of the year with the general fund, because you're doing your budget revisions come, May. We have the luxury of looking way after the fact. So we come and we're testing everything on all the expenses and stuff that come in July, August, but if it had related back to June, we're like, oh, pull it back in. So we know we can look at it very easily, but you're having to make those decisions on how much to transfer earlier on. I would suggest transfer maybe more than you think you need to. If those capital projects are needed, you can always do a transfer back if needed, but I do find that those capital projects usually really happen and take a lot of money. So that's my recommendation. Make sure that you're doing those to avoid that finding in the future.
Any questions? Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And thank you. You guys, I know you spend a lot of time in that conference room upstairs, so we appreciate it. So thank you.
Mayor, it has been an absolute privilege to be able to work with you. We see you all the time as we are working there, and we know how much of your heart and time and effort has gone into this. And I just want to say thank you, because we work with a lot of municipalities, and it's just really nice to be able to see someone that dedicated.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Alrighty, and thank you for the chocolates. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. On to the next place. Okay, let's go back to
17.
number 17. I'm going to read it again so we can remember what it is. Public hearing for the purpose of discussing ordinance 2025-29 and ordinance amending chapter 3.20 municipal impact fees by modifying the wastewater sewer collection impact fee. I will turn the time over to Justin to explain what this is, then we will open the public hearing.
So at a minimum, every 5 years, we need to update our impact fees. As you will recall, probably over 2025, I believe we did water, we did parks. We made an adjustment, Logan did, to the sewer treatment side. We've looked at stormwater. Now we are looking at sewer collection. We contracted with Zion's Public Finance. They are experts in impact fee studies. This is one of the things they do. They went through, they look at future projects, they look at capacity, they use the state criteria to come back and say, Smithfield City, this is what you can charge. As proposed, after they review it, they come up with a couple of things on our current our last study, it split the sewer collection. Now, sewer treatment is Logan City. We are sewer collection, pipe in the ground to get it to Logan City. It's one of the things Clay monitors, and it's flow, monitors the sewer system. So we contract with Zion's Public Finance. They came back and said, in this particular case, based on your projects, you don't need 3 zones. So we would be going back to one zone being the entire city boundary of the city. But the fee itself, as proposed, would be as of April 1st, 2026, because you cannot implement them until 90 days after they're adopted. So for simplicity, we're just going to the first day of the month after rather than go mid-month. That's what we're recommending. Comes in at $4,791. What does that mean? It means, based on the study, that the city council cannot exceed $4,791. But you could go under $4,791, but for every dollar you are under the maximum amount means the current residents are subsidizing new growth. Impact fees, this does not impact a current resident that is in their home, that is paying their utility bill. This is only for new growth. I want to be crystal clear on that, because people tonight, I'm sure, are going, I'm not paying that. No, you're not. If you already live in the city, you already have a home, you are not paying a new impact fee unless you build a new home. And then it's based on meter size. The minimum size, or if there was a meter involved, is $4,791. It would go up. When would it possibly increase? That's for big businesses with a lot of flow. Clay works with them, determines, so the vast majority of the city is going to be the $4,791. Then there's an inflation factor every year. It would go up on January 1st of 27, 28. Small increase of about $44 would go up in 27, and then it tracks forward with that. So as far as projects, what we're looking at over the next 5 years, everyone that lives over on 200 North was totally enamored when we did the last project from the highway down to 200 West, and it took about 3 times longer than any estimates were made. But we would be continuing that. It would be 200 North from 200 West to 400 West, and then on 400 West from 200 North back to Saddleback. The estimated cost of that project is $2.6 million. So we're always looking at saving money. We're looking at projects. This project will need to be done. We want to do it as soon as possible, but we also we have to look at our cash. We don't want a bond. We want to do that when we can. The next big project that is coming for the entire city will be the addition of a trunk line, or either the upsize of the trunk line that goes to Hyde Park through Hyde Park, or possibly putting a second trunk line next to the existing one, correct, Clay?
Yeah.
That's one that we got to look at long term, how we're going to do that, because we do join in. Our Hyde Park joins into us at a specific point. That will be a project that will involve both cities, but there's always projects. If you'll recall, we did, Clay, remind me, I apologize, we did a several $million project on 6th West that was from
2nd North all the way down to about 300 South.
And we paid cash for that project. We paid cash for the 200 North project. So council, tonight we're looking at updating the sewer collection impact fee per the study with Zion's Public Finance.
All right. Having heard that, I'm going to open the public hearing at 7:48 p.m. And I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:48 p.m. Let's have some discussion. If you have any discussion, council, any questions, any thoughts?
I've got just a question of understanding, what size is that trunk line that's going right now that's going to need to be either upsized or duplicated?
So it varies.
Sorry, Clay.
It varies. It's about 18-inch until Hyde Park joins in, and then it goes up to 24 in places. When this 6 South project that we upsized, it went to a 24. I got to remember if that's exactly right, but it would need to be upsized. It is between 18 and 24. And it goes all the way down to that new lift station, which we helped to purchase a couple of years ago.
would that kind of be the end of our responsibility, liability would be at that station, or would we need to contribute to any further upsizing down the road to Logan?
Because we have given the lift station to them, I believe our obligation would end there.
Okay.
Because they've put in the line from there down, and it is a forced line, so it should end there at the lift station.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'm ready for a motion. This is number 18, discussion and possible vote on ordinance 2025-29.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-29.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Todd. How do we vote? Jen?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Number 19, public hearing for the purpose of discussing ordinance 2025-28, an ordinance enacting compensation increases for specific offices and officers. So we took a look, and I asked if we could please do this. There has not been an increase other than cost of living since 2019 for our department heads. We took care of a couple of them a couple of months ago, and I'm proposing this this new amount for each of the people listed, as you can see up on the boards. And then I'm going to bring something else up. So for city engineer Clay Bodley, it would be $118,000. Police chief Travis Allen, $129,000. Fire Chief Jeremy Hunt, $124,000. Public Works Director Josh Wright, $118,000. Golf Professional Eric Clevin, $129,000. And Rec Center Director Brett Daniels, $129,000. I do have to tell you, we did a lot of comparisons throughout the valley, and we are low. We are very low on most of our department heads. At this time, I would like to also propose, as we are doing this, that we increase City Manager Justin Lewis's wage by $10,000 as well. These, like I said, nothing has been done since 2019, and I feel like it is well merited. We have a very hardworking team here in our city, and they have not complained about what they are paid. They haven't come to us and asked us for these raises. These are raises we feel they are very deserving of, and as I said, we're low on our pay. And these men have stuck with us all this time and not complained, and I really appreciate that. So I'm going to open this up for public hearing first, and then after that, we'll bring it back to the council to discuss. It is 7:53 p.m. Okay, I'm going to close. Man, these discussions aren't going very long. 7:53 p.m. So I want to ask Justin if he will explain where we are going to get this money, because we don't want to raise taxes. We don't want to get ourselves in financial trouble. And so, Justin, can you explain where we are coming up with the money to provide these raises?
So, Mayor, as part of the review, when we looked at other entities in the valley, we looked at Brigham City, we looked at Tremont, and we looked at Perry, we looked at Willard, we looked all over trying to come up with a comparison. But at the end of the day, if we couldn't fund it, it simply didn't matter. I do want to point out one thing before I talk about that, though. When you look at years of service, Chief Allen, 20, I apologize if I got any of these wrong. I did this a quick view before we came in. I show Chief Allen, 22 years, Public Works Director Josh Wright, 17, Sean Bliss, 2 years, Eric, 25 plus, Zach, 6 plus, Brett Daniels, 25 plus, Clay, 22 plus, and Chief Hunt, 20 plus. Not one of them has ever come to me and asked me to go to you and ask them for an increase. They've always come back and said, please do what's best for my staff. Please take care of the staff. I admire them for that. As far as the budget goes, we're going to talk about budget adjustments next. we've been able to absorb almost all of that into the existing budget. And what I mean by that is I will use, for example, the police department. The police department, we set their budget with their wages. They've had employees coming and going. We've had some retire. We've had some spots that weren't filled. Going back, plugging in all of those numbers with the staff, where they're at, and looking at what we budgeted, we don't have to make, or we wouldn't have to make any, we would not have to make any increase tonight in our budget adjustments. For example, in the police department, we are still leaving the wages benefits, the wages and benefit line item alone. We would have to, in the case of the rec center, we would have to make an increase there for Brett, in the rec center budget. When you look at, for example, Clay's wage is split over, it's a percentage. It's split over water, it's split over sewer, it's split over stormwater, it's split over several funds, several of the enterprise funds, because he impacts and works in all of those different departments. Now, for example, Brian is over the planning department. He is in the general fund only. When you look at, for example, Chief Hunt, he is in the fire department only, so that's general fund. Chief Allen is in the general fund only. Josh Wright is being over public works. He's over several funds. I believe it's 20. I believe it's the 5 funds, because in his case, he is also over solid waste / garbage. So we split it over 5 funds rather than over 4 funds. Golf professional with Eric. Eric is his comes out of the golf course only. I'll use golf as another example. Golf is one where up front we were going through a transition away from Chad Daniels after 41 years to Zach. Zach was approved by the council as the full-time, I believe, a couple of months ago. But we budgeted up front. We didn't know where those numbers were going to sit, so we budgeted up front as if we still had Chad Daniels' wage. So it allowed us, as Chad retired, and Eric slides up a little bit more, even though he's still the professional, he still has more responsibility with Chad's departure, and we love Chad. We're so happy for Chad in his retirement. But we still had funding in there, so we're basically taking what we had allocated for Chad, and we're giving some of that. We would pass that along to Eric without impacting their budget in that regard. Now, do they have some other proposed changes later on that we're going to discuss? Yes. But their net is still the same. So the goal was, within the existing budget, in every case that we possibly could, to look at that number, see what we could include in the current budget without having to make any changes. Right now, I've been called, it's interesting, so I know the south end of the valley right now, there must be a lot of utility fee increases down there, specifically with garbage. We've been getting a lot of calls. Justin, what are you charging? What does the city charge? One of the people from down there said they just got their 4th increase on garbage, and they're like, Justin, how many have you done? And I'm like, you know what? Since the change, the jump from Logan City, who was such a good partner for so many decades, when we went to Econo Waste, yes, did we have to do a change at that time? We did. We haven't done one since. We don't have one budgeted, and right now we're not forecasting another one anytime soon. When you look at the water utility rate, sewer, stormwater, we don't have any other increases that we have approved at this time. We don't have any that we're asking for at this time. I am super proud when I hear Diana talk tonight about hearing other cities are bonding and we're not bonding. We're going to consider in just a little bit adding a $4.7 million, 3 million gallon water tank. I'm paying cash for that. I'm super proud of that. I don't know really anywhere else that's doing that. I talked to another local city. They called me last week, and they're like, Justin, we just bonded for $9.2 million. What are you guys doing? And I'm like, we have a council that planned anew. Now, did that water tank take almost 5 years to get there? Yeah, it did. So we've been working on this. We've been saving. Interest earnings from the city side are great. We are making a lot of money on our interest, or on our fund balance, but we're going to be spending a lot of that on those 3 big projects. So the balance, when I worked with the mayor on this, was how do we fit it in the current budget without impacting and asking the residents for increases elsewhere? We're not asking for any of those. Now, do we have some adjustments in there for revenue and things and grants and things that are coming in? We do. So the goal was trying to get somewhat more competitive with others. When I look and see now Logan City, it's not fair. I get it. It's not fair to compare us to Logan, but it is like when we look at employees and when I see some of their people 4 and 5 down the hierarchy making more than some of our department heads, I'm kind of embarrassed about that. Like I want us to be, our department heads and every single employee are valuable. The 59 full-time employees we are a service-based business. But we could always get better. But at the end of the day, our department heads are what allow us to do what we do, oversee what we oversee, and hopefully continue to add to that quality of life. We cannot lose a department head. And I don't want to. I look at the years of experience, decades, not years. And they don't ask. They do their job every single day. I look at Eric at the golf course and what the golf course has accomplished in the last 5 years, thanks to Zach, to the whole staff, to Eric and overseeing it. That golf course for the last 5 years has been off the chart. And the council, thank to the council for allowing us to reinvest in the golf course, from cart paths to equipment to improvements on the course. We couldn't have done it without you. And Eric never asked for anything. Chad never asked for anything. Zach, because of getting promoted, we got him promoted where he's at, with being but the goal was tonight, try to make a change with those that hadn't asked. Some of them, like the mayor had mentioned, go all the way back to 2019. That's not all of them because, Chief Hunt was the assistant and then he moved up. So his is not as far back as September
Right.
2019, but just to clarify on that, but those that have been in their positions for a long time, September of 19 was the last merit increase. Like as the mayor mentioned, there was a cost of living adjustment for some of those in there. But it was the balance tonight, council, was how do we try and do something with the department heads to be closer to us, around us, but stay within our budget at the same time, and that was our goal with what we're proposing.
Do any of you have other questions for Justin? More clarification?
I do want to make one more comment, Mayor.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I did look. The council, I don't know of a council member that has that does this for the money. But I look back and the last increase to the council wage was July of 2016, just for reference purposes. The council compared to a lot of other entities is substantially under, and you guys have always walked away from a potential cost of living or anything else, basically since 2016.
Yeah.
Kudos to you for investing it back in the staff and the city, because we went to $5,900 a year for the council in July of 2016, and it's $5,900 today. Just as a point of reference, and the mayor has not. When you looked at the mayors, I would have to go back. I believe it was almost the same. I think there was 1 year that we did do a cost of living in there. I would have to look.
There was one, I think, last year.
But I believe it was only one. All the other times there hasn't been. So, thank you, council. Thank you, mayor, because you allow the department heads to run their department and do what they do. And thank you for considering this.
Does it have to be a question, Mayor?
No.
Can it be a statement?
It can be a statement.
Because I would just like to make a statement, and I think tonight was a perfect example of having our audit here as well and seeing how well the city is planned, how well it is being handled. Kudos to Justin and his people, looking for opportunities when there's a chance to pay something down, to pay something off early so that we can save those interest expenses.
Yep.
And the leadership that every one of these on this list show, carrying with them that tenure and that service time as well. I just can't say anything but thank you to each and every one of them on this list, and the mayor's proposal in adding Justin on that as well. To be able to do all of that, work this in, and still not cost our citizens is just, it does not happen. And I am grateful for it.
Thank you.
It's been put out there that the city has too much money and we should be spending it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having a savings account and being able to pay cash for things. I just wanted to publicly say that because there's been things put out there saying that the city should not have this much money and it's wrong that we have this much money. I think we should be proud. It's a good way that we are able to pay for things and not tax the residents, because nobody wants that, nobody needs that. And I think that it speaks to Justin and the staff that they are willing to save that money and be fiscally sound, because that is something that is important. I hope every resident understands and appreciates that. And I just wanted to clarify that because that's been put out there.
Thank you.
I'd also like to make a comment.
Please, as long as you'll do it into the mic.
My mic.
Well,
It won't come.
you can borrow John's.
Okay.
Always an excuse.
It's been a wonderful thing to see. My personal mantra the whole time being here, and it's good to see as I exit, the city is in a financial situation that it is. We recently paid off 2 longer-term projects, or will be paying off. And we do have a little debt left, but my personal mantra has been debt is the devil. Interest does not sleep. For bonds, different things, that just costs the residents more. It's been a little painful getting the water rates. I remember one of the first discussions roughly 7 years ago going to a tiered system, and what we did, it was rough. But it was necessary to get to where we had $4.7 million to pay for these things. This didn't happen by accident. It happened by a previous city manager, city staff, a current staff, current manager, and former council members being forward-looking. Debt is a terrible thing. I know that. I got on the council, I had a mortgage. I exit the council, and I have at this exact moment, other than a small credit card balance, 0 debt. And I think the city and citizens as a whole should live their lives in a way that you can comfortably take care of yourself and plan for the future and be ready. There will be some additional expense doing the water collection system as we go up the canyon that might not be able to be covered by a savings, and that's partially because we started a little late. But I am pleased as we exit that we are in the situation we are. We're not leasing vehicles, we are purchasing them. That is a better position for the city because one thing people don't look at as a society, debt is risk. And the only way to manage that is to get rid of it and live in the principle of having the ability to pay as you go. I am pleased that the city is in that situation. I was a critic, not anymore so much, Mr. Clevin, of the golf course. Not only have they been in the black, but they've been able to make money. You look at different parts of the city, the fire department with Wildland has done a phenomenal job getting that money, making it to reinvest and to grow that department, to get additional equipment. That is the actions of the current leadership and the previous leadership that have been very forward. And it is wonderful and a highlight as I leave, knowing that the city is in a good financial spot. And, you know, the raises, for one, I am proud and pleased that the city council has multiple times denied a raise. We are here to serve. I believe there should be some compensation for that. I recently engaged in a dialogue with the county council because they were looking at voting for a large increase for themselves. And I kind of railed on the idea a little bit because government officials are here to serve, and I think that is a service we've forgotten. Next year we celebrate 250 years of the United States of America. The founders of this country literally died. The people that signed that document died, some of them. And our current elected officials, some of them have made a career out of it and done very well off of it. And I think that is a lost ideology that we've come across in this country, is that we are here to serve. You are no better, and you serve for a time and then we leave. And I think that is the way it should be, and as a philosophy that I hope as residents across the country that we could live and maybe help the federal government realize and adopt. Because it is best to be prepared and be able to control your own destiny rather than have it dictated to you, even over something like money. But thank you to the department heads. I have enjoyed working with and coming and joking with many of you personally. Bless you. It has been wonderful, and you have all done. Nobody is perfect. Nothing in this city is perfect, but we have done a phenomenal job. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen that work for the city, manage things. You've done so well.
Thank you, Wade. I'm ready for a motion.
I might just add.
Go ahead, John.
I might just add, I think as citizens of this city, we can see how well run, financially speaking, and how the city has grown and developed. And I think as citizens, we should be willing to be taxed for merit increases for our leadership in the city. The fact that we are today proposing raises for our department heads without proposing a tax increase, which we should be willing to pay as citizens, but we don't have to, I think is a testament to what's happening in the city, and it's just it's so hopeful for kind of the future and the way this goes. And so I was grateful to hear the report from the auditors tonight about how things are run here. That was going to be my one question: is how this, how are we going to pay for it? But
Yep.
and how are we going to how does Smithfield, the management of Smithfield, compare to other cities? And we can see that we're doing very well, and I think that's to be commended. So well done for our department heads and our city manager, and for the council who have previously served. So thank you.
May I make a motion?
I'm going to say one thing really quickly. I have been with Smithfield City for 23 years in a position, planning and zoning, city council, and mayor. And these are some of the finest people I've ever worked with. These department heads are so dedicated to Smithfield City. And as I said, they don't complain. And they don't make as much money as they could if they even just drove a couple of miles away. And so I'm wholeheartedly in support of this. I don't get a vote, but I just want you to know that if I could vote, I would be voting yes. So I'm ready for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-28.
Motion, as amended, yeah.
As amended with,
amended.
yes.
With
portion for
Justin Lewis making an additional $10,000.
Yes.
Okay. I'm ready for a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. How do we vote? Wade?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. 21, public hearing for the purpose of discussing Resolution 2025-12, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2026 budget, which is the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. And I'll turn the time over to Justin.
Well, council, we'll finish one audit report for the last year, almost halfway through the next fiscal year. Kind of crazy. Tonight, I'm going to hit some of the high notes. Happy to go line by line for if you have questions. But this is a mid-year. We typically do it December or January, and then we do it again, typically a larger one in June of each year as we wrap up the year. In the general fund, we're proposing revenue and expense in the amount of $4.154 million. I want to be very clear about what $3 million of that dollars is. $3 million of that is a transfer. It's a transfer from the general fund to the capital improvement fund. So as Diana had mentioned, we were off 1%. We could be at 35. We were at 36. This will put us substantially under that 35. We'll make more money in our savings if the transfer is approved. We are not spending the $3 million. We are moving it basically in short terms from a checking account to a savings account, even though it's going from the general fund to the capital improvement fund. So $3 million of that 4.154 is going from one fund to another. When you look at where that the additional money is, there was a property tax increase earlier this year that was going to help pay for a tree project. We're going to add that in, so $45,859 in property tax. Sales tax is up. We do. We budget low on sales tax. We budget low. The revenue is typically always budgeted low, and the expenses adjusted as needed. So we're looking at about a $207,000 increase to sales tax. I actually still think that's going to be a little bit low, but I'm comfortable with that number right now. Adding in grants, adding in impact fees, we got a $4,500 JAG grant. Subdivision fees, we budget low. Brian and that office are still punching through a bunch there. $20,000 increase there. Central dispatch is a pass-through fee. We collect it for Logan, we pass it on. As the population grows, the number of units grow, we're going to collect more, but we're also going to turn right around and ship that to Logan as part of our agreement with them. Interest across the board. I get worried about interest being very volatile, so we have always budgeted low on interest revenue. We're proposing increases across the board for interest income to push that up. We did have a surplus sale, sold about $16,000 worth of equipment. We have a library grant, ILL grant. We have a library tech grant. We have donations to the library. There's been some very nice donors over there. Then Sean has come back with where they would like to allocate that. had a very nice donation to the Arts Council that helped with the Storybook Festival, that in turn helped buy those heaters, which were super nice when I was standing by one. So kudos to for that, for making it happen. The America 250 program runs through us, so there's some money coming in, going out there. We would be adding in about $1,700 there for them as part of that. But the biggest thing in the general fund, council, on the is that $3 million. When you look at allocating that, where as the generations change, credit card and debit card use increases substantially. So those numbers are increasing. We're proposing increases to our debit and credit card line, adding in the America 250, adding in the donations and that money to the Arts Council. Not a lot, but I wanted to hit that. In the police, we're adding in the JAG grant. We're adding in liquor law enforcement. So that's Chief Allen can explain if needed, but it's basically we get some specific funding each year that goes for a specific purpose. You can save it up and spend it. To my knowledge, that $37,000 spends it all. So it's all spent now. We were able to add some Cradle points. In-car cameras is where that funding went for 3 of those, and that came from that. The Lexipol, eForce, those type of software is showing an increase of about $5,000. We did get a grant called an early intervention grant in the last fiscal year. We didn't spend all of that in the last fiscal year. Some of that, $3224, came across. And then in police, the biggest thing that I'm most proud about, and you should be proud about, is we have 2 payments left on the police station, a payment in the current fiscal year and then a payment in the next fiscal year. We're proposing adding that last payment in and paying that building off now. So we would be making 2 payments this year, and that police station would be paid off. When you look at streets, we're adding in some money for engineering. We got a grant for a study up on 1200 East that's ongoing that we'll get reimbursed 92% of. We'll end up only paying 8% of that study long term. When the study's complete, we'll submit a reimbursement request. One of the major items we're looking at in the streets department is adding $50,000 to sidewalks. One of the #1 complaints we get is sidewalks to nowhere, missing sidewalks, buckling sidewalks, trees that we all love, destroying sidewalks. This would not be putting sidewalks in new subdivisions. This would be replacing old sidewalk, filling in gaps. #1 thing we get is why wasn't it me? But we feel like with our interest earnings and stuff, we could do some more sidewalk work this year with your approval. So we would be looking at adding an additional $50,000 there. We'll be looking at, as that general plan comes along, we'll have the transportation planning grant as well that will come through that. In parks, we would be adding $100,000 for tree trimming. One of those projects we talked about earlier this year. We didn't know how that was going to settle, or if the property tax hearing would get approved. It got approved. So or are you going to allocate that $45,000 of property tax increase plus another $55,000 from the fund to put $100,000 in tree trimming? So 1 out of the 5 sections is done. We're going to do another section in the spring, and then we're going to evaluate the rest of that and bring back a plan. The RAPS tax project for Forester Acres, we would be adding in the city part of that. So that project's about a $260,000 project. We got about a $205,000 grant. Our portion of that's about $55,000 with all is done. That project is about 95% done. The remaining 5% won't be until the spring when that irrigation line energizes again and we can start watering, and they can finalize that. One project that the council's asked about for, I want to say, Wade, you'll have to correct me, I want to say the whole time you've been on is we have had a horrible floor in the senior center. We have the nastiest, grossest carpet in the senior center. The council has asked when we could financially replace that carpet, and it seems like for 10 years it never worked out. We're proposing that we finally get to replace that carpet with like a laminate flooring, and that would be we would be able to get that in those adjustments. Finally, no broken furnace, that's already been replaced. Leaking roof, already done that. I mean, that building still needs some help, but we would finally be able to do that flooring. When you look at the library, talk to Sean. They would be allocating some of their donations to collections, programs. There are a couple of grants. And then, like I say, that biggest thing in the general fund, council, is that $3 million transfer. When you look at fire, kudos to Chief Hunt and that entire staff. We don't budget anything up front for wildland. We only wait till after that money's come in and done and expenses. So that group brought in overall just under $305,000. That's a lot of hours. That's a lot of time those guys are gone, and guys and gals are gone away from their family. And thank you to the council for allowing us to reinvest that in the fire department. So we would be looking at $304,000 in just under $305,000 in wildland income, a BEMS grant of $52,000, and then we have a yearly increase with the Hyde Park with our contract there. So about $357,000 in revenue, and we're proposing $357,000 in expenses, which would include picking up those wildland fire wages, and then the expenses along with that, the BEMS grant. And then with the remaining funds that they had left over, council, they've proposed in meeting with Chief Hunt and his staff, adding some lockers to the building, adding some gym equipment, adding some turnouts that we desperately need, a brush truck radio, 2 ultrasound machines, and then a different brush truck. And all of that still equals, the revenue equals the expense, $357,711 and $357,711. On the rec side's in the general fund. Interestingly enough, wrestling has become really, really popular. We would be showing a increase for wrestling. Pickleball growing off the chart. Another increase Brett is asking for increases to the pickleball. Miscellaneous programs, I'm sure you've noticed, we're out of fields, we're out of gyms. Brett and them have added a lot of non-recreation type programs, the cooking and those type of things. They're growing, asking for about $7,500 increase there, as well as they sold some used equipment for just under $3,000. And then we would, the associated expenses, if wrestling is up, then your expenses associated with that are up. So an increase there, an increase to pickleball. We don't, when you come to the golf course, for some reason, a lot of people think we subsidize the golf course. We don't. The golf course takes care of itself. The recommendation tonight is a $125,048 revenue increase and $125,048 expense. The biggest ticket items there are, there's a couple. One, there's 2 payments remaining on the building, on the clubhouse. One in this fiscal year, one in the next fiscal year. We would like to pay off that building now. We would like to make that additional payment. So that's included. Pro shop sales are up, so pro shop expenses are up. The other one that we've been able to include tonight, or asking to include, is we have a 2006 Ford Ranger that it was gifted down through various departments, finally ended up at the golf course after it's tired. We would like to replace that 20-year-old truck with a Chevy Silverado at about $52,000. But it's, at the end of the day, revenue 125 increase, expense 125 increase. I'm super proud though about being able to even propose paying off those 2 buildings a year ahead of schedule. Impact fees, park impact fees. We don't budget till, like I say, till we receive $174,000 increase there. In the capital projects fund, as far as you see the $3 million going over there, you see $149,000 expense. Let me explain what that is. If you'll recall, earlier this year, we talked about ordering 2 new ambulance, the trucks, and then we would move the boxes over. Those vehicles did not come in the last fiscal year. They were approved then. They're not coming till this month, actually. And so we need to approve them in this fiscal year. So they were previously approved, did not get here, will not get here. So we would be moving that expense into this year. We'll be super excited when those finally arrive. When you look at water, growth is there. You're looking at revenue increases for tappages, dedication payments, an irrigation metering grant that we just finished up. Clay's been having to hold hands on that thing for like 3 years. We finally got that thing done at the end of last month. Kudos to Clay for overseeing that. We have an aging system, council. I think you know, you see in my weekly report, we have water leaks everywhere. So on the expense side, we would be adding in, we had a significant and a super expensive leak on First North and Second West. That had a road closure. It's still not completely done. We have a, decades-old system that we're trying to improve and replace sections of pipe, but we constantly have leaks. The staff is out. We have one dedicated, basically, crew that just does water leaks. And that system will continue to age. When you look at the expense side, we would be adding $4.7 million for that new water tank project. The contractor told us the contract signed. The contractor will start in the spring. They're anticipating that thing will be done, substantial completion by September 2026. Major hats off to Clay and Josh on that for shepherding that along. That's a big project. We've been working on that for almost 5 years. From when we got that first letter that said you're deficient in storage and you need to do something. And to be able to pay cash for that project, council, that is special. Much needed. It's going to be great, get it done. I'll feel a lot better when it's online. But to be able to do that, council and residents, hats off that we will not pay any interest on that project. We will pay cash for that entire project. When you look at impact fees, we're adding in $218,000. Come over to the sewer side, we would be adding in some funding for the impact fee study. We would be adding in the impact fees to the city, $57,000, $145,000 goes to Logan City. That's a direct pass-through. We do have on the stormwater side, we have an aging sweeper. Sweepers are super mechanical. They break down nonstop. They go through brushes and stuff a lot. We're going to have to look at and evaluate what we do with our sweeper. But we've had to unfortunately dump a lot of money into the maintenance and repair of that sweeper in this fiscal year, and we're actually having to ask for another $5,000 for continuous improvements to that. Impact fees, we'd be adding $172,000 in impact fees. Council, you know this, I know this, we all know this. We're not a little town anymore. We're growing, we're big. Our budget's going to approach $36 million if the adjustments were approved. Going back to bonding, the last bond we did was in 2015 for the library. Super proud of that we've been able to pay cash, and our 3 biggest infrastructure projects that are coming full circle right now, 2 of them for sure will be cash. We're hoping for 2.5. We might be looking at 3. But what's crazy right behind that is Clay's already working on the next sewer project on Second North and putting that together, because that's going to take years to come together. He's also working, we're looking at some road projects right now as that all comes together, and we're looking at how do we do all of that with the cash we have on hand, because we don't want to bond, council, where possible. Our goal is to not bond for as long as possible and let our neighbors do it and figure out how they want to do it. So I'm super proud of that, council. I'm happy to go line by line. I realize that's a very high, long, tedious explanation, but the biggest thing that would come out of this, adding grants, adding impact fees, transferring those funds from the general fund to the capital improvement fund.
Okay, since this is a public hearing, I'm going to open the public hearing, and feel free to come up. 3 minutes though, at 8:27. Okay, you sure? We're going to close the public hearing at 8:28. Council, do you have any questions? Please don't ask him to go line by line, please.
Ready for a motion?
I'm ready for a motion.
I would like to make a motion that we approve Resolution 2025-12.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Sue. How do we vote? Wade?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Awesome. Motion passes. All right.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for all your hard work on that. Ruth Swanner is going to be so excited.
I'll let you tell her.
I've got the text ready, and I'm actually hitting send right now. So
We're all witnesses.
there we go.
Here we go.
Okay. Number 23, city manager report. Turn the time back to Justin.
I'm going to take a break for a second, but while I do that, there's some department heads tonight that have asked if they could take a couple of minutes to come up and address the council on a couple of items. And we're going to start off with Eric with the golf course. Eric would like a couple of minutes, and then we're going to go to Sean. I believe Sean, I swear I saw, yep, Sean's here. And then we're going to go to Chief Hunt, and then we're going to go to Clay. So Eric, please.
Oh, I'm in charge, and you can just take as long as you want.
I'm going to start timing right now. Well, yeah, this is pretty humbling to stand in front of you. I think I've actually worked here for 36 years, if you want me to be honest with you. But first off, I just want to say thank you. Todd, Jen, Chris, Mayor, excuse me, Sue, John, and Wade, thank you. So thank you for what you guys do. Anyone who chooses to run for city council is a very strong, committed individual. And so I just want to thank you guys for doing that. From a woman's standpoint, you women are a mate. No offense to the guys, I'll get to you guys, but you women are very powerful women. Every month we have department head meetings. And the mayor is, I kind of called her our mother, sorry.
So rude.
Well,
We
my
changed
older
that to
sister.
older sister.
Older sister, but you know, I want you guys to know that you guys are our friends, and it's an honor to call you our friends. Wade, when I met you, I don't know if I still know you, but I know you didn't really know very much about the golf course, and it's very humbling the support that you give the golf course for not knowing a lot about the golf course. Chad Daniels, he retired in April, 41 years. That was like losing a father or a brother. Chad and I worked side by side for 35 years. And we always said that the trust that you give the golf course. I see Todd on occasion. I see Jen in the city maybe. Mayor, I see you a lot. Sue, we tend your husband for you.
Thank you.
I know John because he was a coach to my son in high school, and then I see Wade when we come in here. And the trust that you have in the department heads is very, very humbling. So I just want to say thank you. I will miss you. And I look forward to working with the new council, and to getting to know them. So just with you guys going out, thank you. And I hope, Mayor, you and Sue will play with your spouses. Wade, well, I do hope that we see you at the golf course on occasion. So with that said, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, but thank you very much for the support you have given me, as well as the department heads. This city, I don't live here. I grew up in Smithfield. I tried to live here. My wife would not allow that. She likes to live by her mother. I respect that. So I do not live here, but this is my home. This is where I grew up. This is a place that I definitely call Smithfield is home. So thank you. Appreciate all you guys do for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Support.
Mayor, council, I'm going to keep it brief because how do you follow Eric? Am I right? Just a little over 2 years ago, the city took a chance with a new hire, hoping that I would be able to bring some good things to the library. I hope that we're making you proud over there in that building. I think our recent Christmas Storybook Festival was a good example of how many people can work together in this city to make a better quality of life, which is what I talked about when I was first interviewing for the job. Mayor Monson, you took a chance bringing me into that situation and bringing me into the library, and I would like to thank you for that. Right now, we're all very tired at the library, very sore, I had to take a nap before I came to this meeting. But all of the things that we're doing to improve what we offer the public is because this council and our mayor have supported what we do. So thank you very much, Sue. It's been great to get to know you through the programs that we've worked together on at the library. I see Jen at the library, I see Todd come in, I see Wade. John, I know that you're a library patron, and so we're gonna get to know you a little bit better. So the feeling that we are connected to the services and programs that we're offering the public with people in charge of making all the decisions, it really is humbling to be a part of that community and the way that we build that. I know it's very late, so very quickly, Mayor Monson, thank you. Sue, thank you. Wade, thank you for your service as the rep on the library board. We appreciate it. I understand that you have evolved as well with your support for the library, and now you boost what we do all the time, and you speak for what we are working on with appreciation. And I definitely appreciate what you've brought to that. So thank you. You'll be missed, Sue. Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not coming up here alone. I brought reinforcements. I don't know how we follow that, as well as all the opening remarks. I also want to just give my appreciation to the entire council. You guys support us every single year. You let us reinvest that money back into our department, which I know our crews appreciate tremendously. You guys are going to be missed. Mayor, Sue, Wade, I can't imagine the amount of time that you guys put into the things you guys do. We see a very small portion of it, you know, whether it's Trick or Treat Street, whether it's, you know, the festival, whether it's, you know, back in the day when we used to do that pancake breakfast, they would all come. The countless meetings that you've been to, either late in the evenings so that you could get home from work before coming down, or Saturday mornings, how do you match up to that? You guys do a wonderful job. So from the fire department to Mayor, Sue, Wade, we got these gifts for you. Ryan, if you want to, one of you step up and read what's on there. I don't know if you guys know what these are. They're speaking trumpets. They're a long tradition in the fire department for leadership. We wear them on our collars when we become officers. But I'll have Dustin read what we had put on there for you guys.
This one is for Mayor Chris Monson. The speaking trumpet, born in the 1600s and carried by fire officers for over 2 centuries, remains the enduring symbol of leadership, command presence, and unwavering service in the fire service. With heartfelt appreciation for your steadfast support of our department, your advocacy for our safety of our citizens, and your dedicated public service to our community. From the members of Smithfield Fire Department, December 2025.
You've always been speakers for us. We just wanted to show you our appreciation.
Thank you. It is much appreciated.
Yes, thank you.
We'll just have them come hand them to you.
Do you want a picture? Yeah. I think we want to get a picture. Wade and Sue, let's go. We're going to come down and stand with you.
I'll make faces in the background for you, Wade.
Thank you.
Have them all come out. I'll sit on Brian's lap. It'll be amazing. Yeah, we can't have the short people behind the mic. Come on, like, come on, like. Is it okay now?
Mayor and council, I'd also like to say thank you. I know you have a hard job. Every time Brian and I come up with a code change, you look through it, you understand the reason why we want to change it, you understand the need for the change. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the research you do, and all the things you put into the proposals that we have. I appreciate all of the questions you filled, whether it's about lights at the temple or whether it's about construction up near your homes. I appreciate you taking the majority of those, because I know it's not easy. And I know that people have their own opinions, and I appreciate you doing all of that. And I really appreciate the capital improvement projects you've allowed us to do. I know that even in strict budget years, we've had some money to do what needs to be done. There's no limit to what could be spent, and I appreciate all the capital improvement projects you've let us do. I know that although 3 of you are leaving, the reservoir that you approved, that you're helping us build, the spring line, the storm drain down on 10th, they're all necessary projects, and I appreciate you getting the wheels in motion to get those done. And I really, really want to say thank you. I'm going to miss those of you that are leaving, and it has been a pleasure to serve with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Connie.
Okay, that's hard to follow up, council,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna try and be brief. I told the mayor today, I have to be like really professional in this meeting, and then emotions will come in place, because they always do. So we'll hurry and talk about some stuff before Matt, and hope that doesn't happen. We talked about, you know, the 3 million gallon tank will start in the spring, be done ideally by September. We're getting ready to bid out phase 1 of the stormwater project on 10th South. That will be basically from just past the highway down to the railroad tracks. Cash for that project. Phase 2 would be from the railroad tracks down to 1200 West. Long term. Clay's working with the county on the final steps about getting ready to hopefully get phase 1 of the spring line replacement up the canyon. Get it out to bid sooner than later. That will be the easier side, is in the county, and then the Forest Service side will take some more time. The one thing I would like some input on from council tonight is, it's almost RAPS tax season. RAPS tax has been very good to the city for many years. You know, we've done a lot of projects. As we were looking to apply in the first quarter of next year, in the last few years, council, we've applied for recreation projects, historical projects such as the Douglas Mercantile. I believe that's 3 straight years we've got funding there. And then the youth theater, they've been very good to the youth theater, about $3,000 to $3,500 a year for that as well. For 2026, council, we don't have anything solidified, but we also don't want to spend a ton of time if you don't support these. But we would like to once again apply for the youth theater, and work with the Historical Preservation Commission on an application, possibly for the Douglas Mercantile again. We don't have a dollar amount there. We're working with Todd and those members to come up with a list of projects, list of bids, if we will continue to support that as that works its way through. And then the big one, council, is we don't want to do a Parks and Rec application in 2026. I've talked to Brett Daniels about this. Brett is very supportive of the project we're going to propose. We have not applied at anything for the golf course for like a very, very long time. We have a safety concern up there, council, on the driving range and hole 1, where there's no fence. There's no protective barrier. You get hackers like myself up there on the range. If you are on hole 1, it's probably you're putting your life in someone else's hands. It's bad. So what we would like to consider, council, is not doing a Parks and Rec application in 26. We would like to do a golf course safety netting project. But it's going to take some time to get bids, get people up there and look at it, and come up with a plan there. Like I say, Brett would be supportive of not doing anything with Parks and Rec for the year. Zach, Eric, myself, we would really like we just are concerned about safety. The tee times, as Eric can attest. Is Eric still here? Eric's still here. The course got opened back up this week. They don't have a tee time left tomorrow. It's December. All those tee times are gone. Course is open. As soon as Eric put that email out, those tee times filled up. But as there are no tee times available, we get more people on the range. We get more hackers that, not computer hackers, Wade, hackers and we have a real concern with safety between hole 1, the driving range, and with your permission, council, we would like to get bids and look at a project in 2026, well, at those 3 projects. I'm wondering if that is something you would support, something you would not support. We don't have final numbers. We don't want to spend a lot of time getting bids and stuff if that's something that you don't deem is of value to the city. But as far as a staff and our review, that's what we've come up with that we would like to do. We would apply in the first quarter of next year, the first part of the first quarter of next year, if you're supportive of that. But we would be working with several different groups. We are not pushing out this. I want to be very clear. We're not pushing out the Historical Society or what they're doing. We're just evaluating their projects, evaluating the golf project, and then the youth theater is always a minor request.
And no decisions are needed for the actual application until mid-first quarter.
So we would come back, but we just don't want to spend a lot of time if you're just like, no, we have no interest in that.
What are your thoughts, quickly?
From my side, I have talked with the Historical Society, and we're looking at that, reevaluating where we're at, what funds we still have, so that we can try and minimize any kind of RAPS tax that we would request to be able to maximize for that primary purpose.
Okay. So you're kind of a head nod yes?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Is there a new urgency here with this protection? I mean, they've been side by side for decades, and is it just that there's increased traffic there, or is it just we're finally at a point where we feel like this is an improvement that we want to invest in at this stage, or I'm interested in the timing.
A couple of folds on that, John. One, I'll say a previous administrative position wasn't as enamored about applying for a golf course project. I'm very supportive of that when we can make it work along with rec. So has the need been there for a long time? It has. Have we addressed it in the past? We have not. It is such a large project. I don't feel like that without some grant funding that we can pull it off. I think we have to couple our funds with some grant funding because it is a 6-figure project. Like, we already know that is for sure 6 figures. It's just where it's going to lie in there. So no, is it anything new? No. Has it been on our radar for a long time? Yes. Balancing where the rec center's at with projects they're looking at. We thought 26 had a good feel, was a much better option of when we were looking at projects. So no, it's not anything new. Is it something that we just feel like it's kind of like the carpet at the senior center, kind of finally lined up to that point that we feel like 26 would be a good year to do that. And unless you're not supportive, and then we'll circle that. But talking to Brett, I'm like, Brett, what's your most pressing? He didn't have anything that's that big. We always have a lot of projects, but he didn't have that one that was just over the top for 26. And we're just like, you know what? This may be the year to do some improvements up at the golf course. It would be better from a safety angle, a liability angle. And also, anytime we can dump money in that course, we would like to, especially if someone else is paying the bill. As far as a grant goes, we would couple that. So yeah, it's just a combination, John. It is not, there's more hackers out there like myself for sure. But yeah, the golf course, Eric and Zach can't get more people on that course. All the tee times are gone. Like, hard to me believe right now. Eric sent me the list today, or sent me the screenshot of that there aren't any. There are not any times tomorrow to golf in December, which is kind of hard to process, really. Like, I'm not very happy, though, that there's not snow on the ground, but we were also feel very fortunate as a staff that we were able to close down that course for a couple of weeks with some big improvements. There's a lot of projects that Zach and the staff can't do when the course is open. Just from a safety perspective, for a couple of weeks, they were able to get in, work on hole 2, some of those cart path problems that we're doing in-house, got the course back into a position where, like, we could open it back up for this week. Eric and staff will evaluate it week to week. But from an application standpoint, John, I'm not sure if I answered that good enough, but it just felt like this was the year based on rec projects and where we were at that we felt like 26 would be our best option.
Can I ask a follow-up then? I know that there's some discussion about the irrigation system also
Yes.
at the golf course. Where does this project fall in priority relation to the irrigation system? And
So
considering
irrigation will always be 1A, 1B, and 1C. Like, it will always be the top of the list. It is such a large, we're estimating 6 to 8 million plus project. We just know right now that's not, we've got to look for some funding, hopefully, and find some funding out there to couple with that. And when we do, we would bring that to the council. This is project number one. So irrigation system will always be one. The cart paths were kind of a 2. We got those done. We could always dump more money in cart paths. We didn't feel like that was a really good RAPS project. We feel like a safety project for the patrons of the course would probably be number 3 in talking with Eric and Zach, and that's why we're bringing that one forward now.
Very good.
Us older guys, we're all slicers, but all the young, powerful bucks are all hookers, which puts it right into the into the first fairway.
So we'll look for bringing some information on that back to the council.
Poor term. Guys
I
who
was gonna
hit
say,
hooks. How about that?
All righty.
So one last thing, Mayor. So
Yes.
from the staff, there's no way we're going to touch what the fire department did. We weren't going to try and do that. But we do have as a city office staff, we do have a little parting gift for the 3 of you. And it's I wrapped it myself. Amazing.
Spared no expense.
Wow, you really went above and beyond there.
Ask Nicole, yes, if there was ever wrapping paper and it looked like a dinosaur did it, that would be mine.
Thank you.
My kids will appreciate this.
Oh, it's my kids. Oh.
Have to hide that.
My very own gavel. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And as part of my final remarks, council, from the staff, from the department heads, from the entire staff, thank you to all of you. We couldn't do what we do without you. It's just an emotional time. Change is what happens. But you came in and didn't know any of us, and you leave us friends. And we couldn't ask for more than that. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for offering your guidance. Thank you for being you. Working with varying perspectives, as the mayor knows, when we chat, it takes a lot of varying perspectives to do what's best for this city. And there's a lot of things that she'll bounce off that I give her my perspective, which is way different than her perspective, as with yours. And at the end of the day, we all know that the end goal is to do what's best for the city. And that there will always be different perspectives and plans and visions. And we very much look forward to working with the new mayor and council as they come in with their perspectives and what they want to see. But we just want to thank you as you leave for all you do, for not only the impact you have on us, but the impact you have on our families. It's definitely noticed. It's definitely appreciated. And thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to do number 24, council member and mayor reports, and I just want this to be our reports, and then we'll do the closing remarks from each of us that are leaving. So let's go ahead and start with Todd.
Okay. Just really quickly, you saw that we gained a couple of new tree committee members. We're excited about that. I will pass on both from the tree committee leadership as well as the Historical Society and the commission, their appreciation as well, and all of the support that they have been given. Certainly, I'm bringing that because I meet with them, but they want to make sure that that expression goes all the way across the board, and they really appreciate that. Historical Society is continuing to build and to progress with their goal still to be able to have an open house, at least for the lower floor over there, by the time that the temple has their open house. So they are continuing to work toward that. we're seeing some increased activity with the winter coming on of being able to accomplish some things. And so they're progressing well.
Awesome. Jen?
As we heard, the seniors are getting their new flooring. They'll be so excited. They've been begging and asking. When I first got on, that was the first question they had is, when can we get new flooring? And so that would be fun for them. Health days, they're still in the application process and still accepting applications for high school aged girls to be in the Health Days pageant. We're starting meetings next month, and we're just full steam ahead starting next month after Christmas. The Arts Council, I don't know who had the opportunity to attend the Storybook Festival on Monday night at the library. It was beyond expectation. Blew me out of the water. I mean, last year they put this together just a few months before Christmas, and it was amazing then. But having a full year to plan it, I can't give enough credit to Mike, who is our chair, Jonathan is our co-chair, Alyssa is the secretary, and all of her marketing work that she did to put it out there and let people know. And a special thank you to Jessica Higginbotham. She took on this huge project of planning and forming subcommittees to make this happen. The weather could not have been better. The vendors, the music, Santa Claus, the sleigh rides, the Arts Council tent, the countless hours of volunteer work. They didn't make any money. They did this for the love of the city. It was magical. It's wonderful. And I am so excited to see this be a continued thing in the city. We had people come from all over the valley, not just city. It was advertised throughout the valley. We had a lot of people drive by not knowing what it was and stop by, and we're so happy and thrilled with what they saw and heard, and they want to come back every year. It's just wonderful. The Arts Council, all the councils and committees in the city just not donate, they give a lot of their time, and we are so thankful for them and all that they do. And they too have all expressed appreciation to you guys as well.
Thank you. Sue? I just want to thank the Youth Council for their outstanding service that they've given the city. They have been so busy since the turkey trot to the Storybook Festival. They have given so much service. They're up early in the mornings and they do service late at night, and they always have a smile and they're always willing. I just want to thank them for their service.
And I'll just say, Sue has been so dedicated to the Youth Council. She puts in so many hours. She puts in as many hours as the leaders and the kids do, and I really appreciate your service with the Youth Council. Thank you. John?
The Chamber of Commerce held its Night of Giving, and it was a great success. Just a great community spirit there, and a nice auction. Great auction setting, and a lot of donations in a variety of forms. So I didn't get the final number on donations collected, but it was a great success. The mayor and I met with the county trails gang as well as Hyde Park and North Logan Trails folks, and it looks like funding is in place to continue the Bonneville Shoreline Trail through to the north end here. And now it's just a matter of setting up logistics and working out schedules and finalizing the details of making that happen. But it looks like the hope is in the next couple of years to get the majority of that trail extended up to this end of the valley.
It's for 10 miles. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Huge.
Let me also just say, while I've got the mic, to thank you for the mayor and to Wade and to Sue. It's just thank you for welcoming me so warmly to the council and for your service to the city. It's just been, there's been so much good that has come of it. And I think as a community, I hope you know that. I hope you know that we as a community appreciate that and are so very grateful for the integrity that you have brought to this council and the absolute sacrifice and service. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wait.
Mosquitoes are not exactly out this time of year, so not a lot of the mosquito abatement district, just year closeouts on financials and things. Library board, the library will be closed for the next roughly month for some wonderful things to happen there. We'll meet again in January, I believe, Sean.
Maybe before. We're right on schedule as of today. So.
Okay. Wonderful. Good deal. And library board will keep soldiering along.
So that's all I have for that.
Okay, will you pull up that list I sent you? So, as I've looked over the past 4 years, and this is just, I just kind of wanted to recap, and I'll read it very, very quickly. Some of the things that we, and I call it, look what we've done, that we as a council and mayor have done in the past 4 years. And I'm really proud of the things we've done. We've worked really hard. So I'm going to read it quickly. Number 1, coordinated with the county to fix Birch Canyon Road. This was just before I was made mayor, and they actually added the gate at the bottom too, so the road wasn't damaged every time people drove in the winter. Coordinated with Terry Camp to help take loop ends out of the wilderness for Birch Canyon Trail. This is a big deal to mountain bikers and hikers. Number 3, created and continued dark sky ordinance since 1999. This is something I personally am very, very proud of. I wrote that ordinance, and I still am proud of it. I know right now there's a few people that are not happy about the lighting with the temple, but this is really important. If you saw the Northern Lights 3 weeks ago, be grateful. Number 4, work closely with Cash Trails coordinators. Number 5, brought Kari Hogan back to the Health Days Scholarship Pageant. That's a biggie. I'm not going to read the numbers. Planned and are executing new water line to replace 103-year-old water line. Planned and executing new $3 million storage tank, paying with cash. Hired 2 new fire chiefs. Jeremy Hunt is the current, and he is a very good hire. Number 9, hired new library director Sean Bliss. One of the best things we did. Number 10, another best thing we did, hired new city manager Justin Lewis. Established the weekly newsletter, 3 Things, providing weekly updates to residents, which replaced our old city newsletter. Created Arts Council, which now sponsors the Christmas Storybook Festival. Oh, I did not spell that well. And summer arts events, as well as the Health Days Chalk Art Contest. I personally want to thank my husband for taking that over. I think he's made a huge difference in that. Installed the Skyview Roundabout, coordinated with the class of 2025 to place stones in Bobcat. Worked with UDOT to add turn signals at 600 South. Developed a strong working relationship with Hyde Park and North Logan, and strengthened relationships with the entire county. Acquired Tuvison property, 11 acres for eventual new city park. Updated the old logo to a bright, modern look. Almost finished with the general plan. I sit on the Bear River Mental Health Board. I sit on the Fire District Board. Sue created the WaterWise Wednesday post and has encouraged Flip Your Strip. We've created Traffic Tip Tuesdays with Marissa, somebody else. Awarded the Healthy Utah designation, which is a big deal. Coordinated the Healthy Utah Art mural on the south side of the old main theater, which was just done in 1025. Lester Lee and volunteers donated all of the work. I hope you've seen that. Started the food sharing stand at the rec center. Supported and encouraged America 250 team to celebrate the 250th birthday of the U.S. Supported and encouraged the Historical Society as they build the new museum. Added another layer of transparency to the Planning Commission, as we now require written notice to be given to neighbors within 300 feet of new rezones or annexations. Started broadcasting council meetings on YouTube starting October 2025 to open up meetings to everyone. We have stayed connected through email, text, and visits, and have answered anyone who has reached out. We, at number 31, total support of emergency services. We've supported the Period Project with free sanitary products in women's bathrooms in the city offices. Provided new couches in the Senior Citizen Center. We'll install new flooring in the Senior Citizen Center. I wrote that one with my fingers crossed. Approved in December 2025. Stayed within budget and encouraged paying cash for big ticket items, and have remained fiscally responsible. Successfully changed solid waste disposal from Logan City to Econo Waste. We own our own cans, thereby reducing the chance for overcharge. We worked with UDOT to change speed on 100 North heading west. We hired new Public Works Josh Wright, another incredible hire. Worked with County Trails Committee as new funding was just awarded for 10 miles of the Bonneville Shoreline Trail in December 2025. Acquired a contract with Blomquist Hale to provide mental health support for all employees and their families. That's a big deal. Hired new city, another good person, Dana Lazkanotegi, and learned how to pronounce her last name, although I just blew it. 42 held daily coordinating meetings with Justin Lewis. Justin and I meet every day that I come in, which is usually 3 to 4 days a week. Brought our parks back to green and well cared for. Brought extremely rapid growth back under control. Hired Jody Mack as a city treasurer. Started tackling the $3 million tree project by hiring 2 companies to start trimming and cleaning up. provided 3 things updates in paper copy form to the senior citizens who many cannot navigate handheld things. So, had all valuable art in the library valued, reframed, added museum quality glass, and rehung. All art is now accounted for and taken care of. That's a big deal. I've been available to residents and staff 3 to 4 days a week in office, and the council has always responded to texts and emails. The sitting members on the council have always done their homework and been prepared. I have not worked with a council as fine as the sitting council on my side right now. Never. Where we've worked closely with the rec center and the Cache County School District to work on ideas for improving and possibly relocating the rec center from Skyview. I worked closely with Superintendent McKee and Brett Daniels. I have acted as the vice chair of the Mayor's Association. We have added major sewer infrastructure upgrades on 200 North and 600 West. We have plans for the largest stormwater infrastructure project in the city. The project will bid at any time. Multiple culinary infrastructure projects in various locations throughout the city, from the replacement of old pipe to construction of a new booster station. And we are currently adding new carpet to the library, and we added a roof and roof repairs, or floor repairs in 2024. And this is just a quick glimpse of what we've done in the past 4 years. And as I compiled this list, I realized how hard we worked and how much work we've done. So I just wanted to share that with you. I also wanted it to be put in the city records, because I am very proud of what we've done as a council and mayor together. So I'll turn the time now over. I'm going to start with Sue. Oh, and I was going to just list 3 things I wish I could have finished. One was I would have loved to have gotten the sprinkling system at the golf course taken care of. It's a big deal. And it's something I hope the new council will definitely consider going forward. The second thing is, I think that we need to fund our police department better so that we can hire people with more experience and tempt them to come to Smithfield City. We have awesome officers now, but we are down quite a few, and I think pay is a big deal with officers coming to our little city. Number 3, I would like to have seen a better senior citizen for our seniors. I've been in contact with 2 different groups as I was working on this project, trying to get funding, but right now that'll be on hold. So, but I'm glad we're making the improvements as we move forward with this new flooring, and Ruth Swanner is thrilled, and that's a good thing. So I'll go ahead and turn the time over to Sue.
Okay. Well, serving on the council has been an honor. I have learned so much. I can't drive down a city road without thinking about city stuff. And I have made so many friends along the way, and I want to thank all the people that work in the city. They're so awesome, and all the department heads are amazing. They work so hard. They show their love for the city by the way that they work, and it's been a privilege to serve, and I'm grateful for all the opportunities that I've had during my term. Thank you.
Wade.
Well, that won't be superfluous or redundant. I'll try to keep this short. Like most funerals you go to that are any good, you focus on the good and keep it short and sweet. There's some folks in this room that have kind of become friends over the past 10, almost 11 years that I've served with the city, either the planning commission or the city council. Mr. Thornley in the back, the Forrester family, Jeff Barnes, Mrs. Stokes, those that have attended and been to the bulk of our meetings, as well as the city staff, but the residents have been involved. It's been a pleasure to see and participate with everybody. In past assignments or current ones, I've served with the library board or the fire department. Mr. Potts, Mr. Hunt, and Corey, I grew up with you, Mr. Larson. This was very meaningful to me because there's a lot of history in part of my family in serving with the fire department. They were the founders of the fire department for Wellsville City, and it was a wonderful thing for me personally. Something as a highlight of my tenure and ability to serve the citizens of Smithfield was the ambulance service. That is a tremendous thing. As Sam's dissolved and working with former Chief Downs that did a wonderful job moving that system and navigating to what we have now, and the equipment moving from a wonderful pumpkin ambulance to the better equipment that we have, the ladder truck, the things that we've acquired, even though the Budmobile has departed. That has been a highlight of my life, because growing up, Corey, our friends, fathers, our neighbors, Cal Butler, Bud Pitcher, that was the legacy that I saw. Was they worked in public works, the cemetery sextant in Bud Pitcher, or excuse me, Cal Butler's case. And they served, I think it was a requirement at the time, partially, or maybe unofficially, that you were one or the other, or one and the other. But the legacy that exists in the women and men of the Smithfield Fire Department is a legacy that, not to single you out or say that I love you more than anybody else, but it's been wonderful to work with the fire department closely for a number of years. And to know that Jay Downs will come to the council and bring a wealth of knowledge to support and continue that department and carry it forward. The police department. Travis, I've enjoyed it. We've had some struggles, but to stay on the highlight, it's been wonderful. And the public works, I worked there 2 different times growing up and then as a college student, and it's been good to see those things. My family's lived in Smithfield for multiple generations, and it's wonderful to be able to pay back and give back to the city. Diane's not here tonight. She used to come and cross-stitch, but 4 of our children were born during my tenure here. And it's been hard for her when I've not been home. Just this week, I did miss the fire department banquet last night because a steer had its head stuck in a manger. Seasonal for mangers. But I have valued the opportunities to attend the meetings. There's the council meeting tonight and my last mosquito abatement district meeting tomorrow night, and it's going to be wonderful to not have to go to these things, but at the same time, I'm going to miss parts of it. There's a lot of negativity that we won't bring up that I won't miss, but the good people. To go and sit and enjoy an evening till the lights turn off at 7:30 at the library and talk about things, or to visit about old history with Mr. Thornley or the Forrester family. They'll always be cherished things for me. And to work with the Planning Commission, Bob and Jamie that left, and to retire the same month as you both, it's a wonderful thing. But much thanks to Diane and to my kids for allowing me this opportunity. They will not know me being around as much as I will be to be able to attend their events and things. To this council. The last 6 months, we've worked through a lot of things, unfortunate and unpleasant. I have enjoyed working with you. The tears, the heartache, as you grasp and try to figure out how to work through things, being what they were, and try to make it as good as we can. And to the point, some national attention was focused on us, and it was very hard. And I appreciate that opportunity to work with each of you. And John, you came on at the end. But it's been a time that I will look fondly back on, but I will be glad that it is a closed chapter. Because, as I said earlier, I believe strongly that leadership should come, they should serve well, and then they need to exit. And hopefully exit on a good note. And in hopes to end with my not being too excessive or too repetitious, would you like to close and thank everybody here for this opportunity to allow us to serve you, and to hopefully do it as well as we could, and also to encourage the incoming council members. Don't raise your salary. Keep it low. Take pride in that. Property taxes. I'm a strong proponent, even though I hate property taxes personally, of holding the rate. It keeps you in balance, and it keeps you holding that rate so that you grow with the growth rather than holding every 5-10 years and then having to do a property tax increase of a large amount that slaughters and just ruins people financially and hurts them. And those are visceral words to use, but it does for some. In a letter to the county council, I said that we need to make a note that we need to handle public funds with almost a reverence. I don't think government's very good at that. And I have always tried to remember that every year, even when we want a new excavator and the other one's a little bit old, but it doesn't have that many hours. I think it behooves us to remember that it's almost sacred. These are your tax dollars, the residents' tax dollars, and I would encourage the incoming council to keep that in their minds. You're here to serve. It's not a position of honor, or you're not better than anybody else. And I wish all leadership would remember that. And with that, I close.
Thank you. So Winnie the Pooh said, "How lucky am I to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard?" I've been doing so good. Sorry. What an honor it has been to be the mayor of Smithfield City. I never dreamed of this position. I never planned for this position. It wasn't something I thought I would be. And it has been such an honor. It's been an honor to work with this incredible city council. It's been an honor to work with an incredible staff. We are so blessed to live in this community. And I don't think you realize it till you move away, and then you think, oh, wow, Smithfield's pretty amazing. But thank you for your support, for your love, for your kindness. It's been an honor. And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. And Wade, I'd like you to do this.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn the meeting for the night.
And do we have a second? We don't need one, but go ahead. Okay, Todd. And how do we vote?
I was pointing to let Sue do it on her
Sue,
way out.
do you want to second it?
I'll second.
How do we vote? Todd?
Yes.
Jen?
I want to say no, but yes.
John?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Thank you for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. I know the meeting was long, but we appreciate your support.